Let's go! Nau mai, hara mai ki Kaupapa On The Couch. He Māoritanga te kaupapa o te rānei. So believe it or not, we're currently in the middle of a Māori media review. Te Puni Kōkiri and the Minister for Māori Development, Nanaia Mahuta, allocate the money to Māori media that will uphold the mana of te reo Māori. And right now, they're trying to figure out how best to spend that money. I can help you with that, Nanaia. Girl, call me. Sometimes media in Aotearoa is this weird Harry Potter universe. There's a whole beautiful world of Māori media that mainstream audiences are completely ignorant of. There are hit shows and TV stars that are a huge deal in Te Ao Māori, and most of y'all have no idea. Wizards and muggles, ne? Now, usually when there's any discussion about Māori in the media, we tend to focus on the bias and negative stereotypes that have been pervasive over the decades. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about our achievements, but sometimes you can't talk about one without the other. Did you know that between 1842 and 1933, there are about 40 newspapers solely written in te reo Māori? Over the following years, a number of papers emerged. Some were run and edited by Māori, some were run by the government, and some were religious. Many of the government-sponsored ones focused on helping Māori to assimilate. Most histories show us that many communities early in our colonial history lived pretty peacefully side by side, with Māori trading with the new settlers and adopting new farming and agriculture practices to provide for the growing settlements. Lots of intermarriage. But then, once the Native Land Court was introduced in 1865 to legally steal large tracts of Māori land, newspapers became an important tool in the colonial arsenal, depicting Māori as lazy, brute savages to justify the government's attempts to extinguish language and land rights. Aggressive colonisation was even being promoted as the only way to save us from extinction, which was being caused by colonisation. Cue land wars and disenfranchisement for many decades to come. And with that, the beginning of our long fight for fair representation in the media. The very first Māori magazine was the quarterly Te Ao Hou, produced by the Department of Māori Affairs in 1952. The first issue introduced it as
interesting and informative reading for Māori homes. Like a marae on paper, where all the questions of interest to the Māori can be discussed.
It was an amazing publication though. It published fiction, non-fiction, photos and drawings by Māori and produced some of our most famous writers like Ara Pera Blank, Patricia Grace, Hone Tūwhare, J.C. Sturm and Rowley Habib. Other magazines followed, some that were iwi specific, like Pukaya from Mātātua, Te Karaka from Ngaitahu, which is still around today. There was also Te Māori News and Mana magazine, which is where I used to work before I did whatever this is. In 1972, the Māori language petition was delivered to Parliament, asking for recognition of te reo Māori as an official language. This kicked off a legal battle to see the language upheld on television. The Waitangi Tribunal found that te reo Māori was considered a taonga under the Treaty of Waitangi and must be upheld through media like broadcasting. Those fighting the good fight had to take it to the High Court and then the Court of Appeal and all the way to the Privy Council. TV and radio up until that point had very much only featured Māori as light entertainment, cast as either sage mystic or entertainers. There was very little representation of the realities of modern life for Māori. Dr. Ranganui Walker's column for The Listener from 1973 to 1990 was one of the only mainstream outlets for a Māori worldview, and he was fearless in addressing politics, racism and activism. So in 1980, a Māori television production unit was formed at TVNZ, and the first regular program made by Māori about Māori began. Koha looked at everything from contemporary issues to iwi history and was a launchpad for some of our broadcasting legends such as Merata Mita. It later became Marae, which is still on today, making it the longest running Māori current affairs show on telly. The first daily news bulletin first went to air during Māori Language Week in 1982. Te Kārere, made by Derek Fox, Whaingata and Pūrewa Biddle, initially only ran for 4 minutes a day. Then came the iwi radio stations. The first two, Te Upoko Te Ika and Radio Ngāti Porou got started in the late 1980s. In 1989, Aotearoa Radio came along and featured Moana Maniapoto, Temuera Morrison, Pio Tere, Willie Jackson. So in the early 1990s, the government started to fund iwi radio. And Mana Māori Media, who later made Mana magazine, got the contract to produce Te Reo Māori news for iwi radio stations and RNZ. Things ramped up a bit for Māori on the radio waves when Ngāti Whātua launched Ruia Mai, their Te Reo Māori radio station, and Mai FM in 1992, with Ruia Mai taking over the iwi radio news contract. Remember how amazing Mai FM was when it first launched? I'm old and you probably don't, but you couldn't hear any hip-hop or R&B on the radio. One Auckland radio station even had a slogan that went, "No rap, no crap." Best of all, they used Te Reo Māori on air, a first for a mainstream FM radio station. And they killed it in the ratings. They were consistently #1. Today we have 21 iwi radio stations, with the amazing Whātua News producing daily news for everyone. But their future may be uncertain under the current review. One of the big problems we have today is training. TVNZ did on-the-job training for Māori journalists, and courses like the Waiariki Institute of Technology Bicultural Journalism program produced most of the amazing Māori journalists you see and hear today. TVNZ has since shut down its Māori and Pacific programming unit, and the Waiariki course no longer exists. There are fewer and fewer students going into mainstream journalism courses, let alone Māori students. Let's not forget about Māori television. Māori television was launched in 2004, forever changing the broadcasting landscape. It's a training ground for amazing talent and home to some of the best locally made TV you'll ever see. But as far as news and media goes, they're in the same boat as everyone else. Even if your Te Reo Māori is beautiful, if you're not receiving robust training as a journalist, it's sink or swim, baby. You get burnout from the stress, and there's fewer and fewer people left to train anyone. So where to from here? The Māori Media Sector Review needs to decide if their goal of increasing knowledge of Te Reo Māori and Māori perspectives can be achieved by the media. It's a lot of pressure to put on that industry when it's not being promoted enough in schools when kids are young enough to absorb it easily. In my opinion, media can complement education outcomes, but it has to start earlier than the point at which they give money to production companies, radio and TV networks to make shows that promote the language. How can the Māori worldview be promoted when there are so few Māori journalists working in mainstream media? Or Te Reo speakers are being funneled into broadcasting roles without any journalism training? Or while the Pākehā media revolves around the written word, but Māori written journalism is completely ignored in favour of broadcasting. Is broadcasting in the Māori language even the best way to protect and promote te reo me ona tikanga Māori? Time will tell, ne? And hopefully I can hang on to my job in the meantime. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Ka kite au kia koutou katoa, tērā marama. See you next month for another episode of Kaupapa On The Couch.